The boy was too extravagant. He refused to eat a large lobster weighing 2 pounds. Instead, he threw it into the sea as bait. Not satisfied with just one, he threw down 7 or 8 more before stopping. Despite his young age, his fishing method was very extravagant. I really want to know how many fish he needs to catch today to make money. Not long after he threw the lobsters into the sea, the float moved. The boy lay at the bow of the boat, scooped it up, and immediately started reeling in the line. However, he encountered difficulties as the fishing line became increasingly hard to pull. With growing resistance, he exerted all his strength but still couldn't succeed. His father beside him told him to stop and drop the anchor into the sea, then jumped in himself to see what fish it was. He followed the fishing line for hundreds of meters until he found his prey in a hole. It was a grouper weighing about 3 kilograms. The fish had its mouth open, seemingly not satisfied, but it was about to gorge itself. Watching this plump fish, the boy happily took it and threw it into the hold. Grouper is very delicious and therefore expensive. Just as they were debating whether to keep the fish for themselves or sell it, difficulties arose. The cruel sea wiped the smiles from their faces. Their second attempt at fishing failed. The fishing hook was left with only half of a lobster tail, and the 2 fishermen were very angry. However, fishing is like this, it's impossible to succeed every time. So they had to continue fishing, but this time was even more of a failure. Not only could they not pull back the fishing line, but even the float was dragged into the sea. This fish was really strong. The father jumped into the sea again to see what was happening. After swimming past a large coral reef, he finally found this fish in a large rock cave. This amphitryon was half his height tall, so it's no wonder it was so strong. This single fish is worth over $8,000, but despite its value, it cannot be caught privately. Doing so would be illegal and could lead to imprisonment, so the father could only regretfully release it back into the sea. Misfortune continued to plague them, and 2 fishing attempts ended up feeding the fish, but then luck turned in their favor. Retrieving the fishing line this time was difficult. The boy exerted so much force that his lips were nearly torn. This time, it had to be a big fish. The father skillfully submerged underwater again, silently praying that the next fish wouldn't be a amphitryon. He found a spot beneath a cliff. The sight before him brought great joy. A large grouper was twisting and struggling, as if attempting to dive deeper. The father didn't give it a chance, immediately putting in great effort to haul it out. Perhaps their lucky charm had arrived. From then on, things went very smoothly. Just after placing the fish in the hole, they immediately caught another. Good heavens, another large grouper, seemingly even larger than the previous one. This fish made up for their earlier losses. They were incredibly fortunate. After pulling up all the fishing hooks, the 2 packed up and headed ashore to sell their catch. They weighed the fish. These 3 groupers totaled 5 kilograms. In the end, the 2 fishermen earned 4,700 pesos. They certainly made back the money spent on lobsters, although not much was left over. Overall, it was well worth it. Look at this girl. She's stuffing bait into the pie. But this meal is a trap. Eat it and you're in trouble. The grouper had just swallowed its food and hadn't even swallowed it when she grabbed it. And she had already caught a large number of grouper using this method. This method is very simple. She took out a small fish and scraped off its scales. Cut it into pieces. And then took out another one and chopped it into small pieces. Then she took out the line group, hung the large pieces of fish meat on the fish hook, stuffed the crumbs into the plastic funnel, and then threw it into the sea, gently shaking the fish line to spread the bait and speed up attracting fish to the hook. Sure enough, fresh fish meat immediately attracted a school of fish, and the girl immediately reeled in the line. 2 minutes later, she caught a big mouth grouper, her first catch of the day. She quickly put the fish into the water bucket because dead fish are worthless. Then, she continued fishing using the same method as before. This method was very effective, and the bait almost immediately elicited a response as soon as it entered the water. The girl was confident, and she reeled in the line quickly, even leaving an afterimage. And the results didn't disappoint her either. She caught an even larger grouper, accompanied by a large piece of coral that she could take home as a decoration. She was very satisfied with this catch. This fish was caught before it even finished eating the bait, showing that the success of fishing depends not only on effective methods, but also on the speed of the fisherman. Considering how lucky she was today, the girl didn't stop fishing. She chopped up another fish and threw it into the water to attract a school of fish. Soon after, she pulled in the fishing line vigorously. She was really lucky today. The fish she caught were getting bigger and bigger, big enough to feed a feast in their big mouths. The 3 large fish were very heavy and difficult to stuff into the bucket. She could almost see bundles of banknotes beckoning to her. Taking advantage of the sunny weather, the girl cast out her last line. This time, The fishing line seemed endless, and it took her 5 minutes to haul in the fish. You can never stop good luck when it's coming. Today, she used up all the bait, and the fish she caught were bigger one after another. The girl happily showed them off to the camera, and then filled the fish bucket to the brim, finishing her work in a small boat. Afterward, she went to the market to weigh each fish. Each one weighed at least 5 kilograms. Today, she earned a total of 3,700 pesos. It may not have been as much as she imagined, but it was a very good income for half a day's work. The girl smiled happily. This time, she not only covered the cost of going to sea, but also earned a week's worth of living expenses. It was really worthwhile. Follow me to discover a new world every day.